This okay, great. Hi, how's everybody doing? This is the evening of Friday, November 16th, and I've got a bit of a delight for you guys. Hopefully, a delight. I'm not exactly sure what I have here, so let me explain. So, for those of you that are longtime Magic collectors, you may have occasionally picked up a card that could be considered a misprint. So, what would be some features of a misprint? Sometimes it's an ink misprint, where not all the colors are represented. Sometimes, at least the ones that I've encountered more often, are the ones that are either miscut or where it's off center. So I remember getting one of the From the Vault series, the one that's like From the Vault flip. I think it's actually called Transform, and that particular From the Vault had not just with me, but I think with a lot of people, a lot of misprints. Just watch your elbows, Mike, because it's moving the table. Um, yeah, my friend Mike's here.
Hey guys, nice to see you.
So if you're feeling nauseous from the video, blame him. Uh, but anyway, where were we? Yes. So you get miscuts, you get sort of like frame shifts, etc. So those are the more common ones. Of course, if it were a more common one, I wouldn't be making a video. So why am I making a video today? Well, because I think I have what we call a filler card. Unlike anime filler, this is actually filler that you're interested in. So what is a filler card? So if you guys have ever seen the sheets of the uncut cards, there's always at the end a card that'll usually say literally discard on it, or it'll be black with an M on it, or all black or something. So these are called filler cards. Filler cards will tend to have either a blank front and a regular magic back, um, or all black front and back apparently. So anyway, the one I want to talk about today are the ones that have the white, just plain white. So the ones that I've encountered online, either eBay or just from other collectors, seem to have a white front, but a normal magic back. So in other words, so let's just go ahead and take an example, right? The back would be like this, right? Regular back, but the front would be plain white. So here I've got an example of another card where you would likely encounter a plain white back, which is an artist proof. So John Stanko, thank you by the way, John Stanko. I doubt you'll ever see this, but he provided me this, which is going to be a very good example for today, as we talk about these white filler cards / misprint, whatever it is. So I have here, that's my hand, my macro lens on my digital SLR camera, so you guys can see extremely high resolution close-ups of what I'm looking at here. So this is the front of the card, and now let's look at the back. So you can see that he drew on it with pencil because I asked him to. The containment briefs, in case you couldn't tell, but I'd like to look in a couple of features here. So try not to look at the pencil, but at the paper itself. You can see that there's a pattern. You see that reflectivity? You see that? I want everybody to be very cognizant of that. And yeah, exactly. Let me try to focus a little better. There. Try to remember what that looks like, that reflective pattern, because we're going to see it again. And the other thing to take from this is that it's not uniform. You see that there's some areas that are shinier, if you will, for lack of a better term, than others. And that varies. We're looking at just one corner here, but in fact, we can flip the darn thing, and let's see over here. And then already there, you see, there's very clear areas where it's a little more reflective than others. And that's the point I'm driving home. Okay, so this is an artist back. Right here. It's out of focus, but you can still see that's what it is. So now I'd like to present to you guys the oddity of the evening, the card that really made me do this. So what card is it? I'm going to switch cameras for just a second. This one. So what card is this? Hell if I know. So here's the story. I have this nasty habit of opening booster packs, setting them into piles, and then not going back to them for like literally months, and that's what happened here. I probably at some store purchased like a couple boosters of M25, a couple boosters of Battle Bond, and couple of boosters of Amonkhet. And I opened them. I looked at what was in them. I think I was probably in a hurry. Maybe it was price support. Who the hell knows? But I definitely didn't see this card at the time. And then I set them into a pile. As you can probably tell, I have a lot of clutter around here. Like, and then what happened is that it was just lying in a pile for the longest time. And Mike will tell you my favorite saying when I'm asked if I have a magic card.
I have it, but I just don't know where.
Exactly, because it's usually in one of these piles. So last night I decided, hey, I'm having some trouble sleeping. Why don't I just try to sort my cards? And as I'm sorting through them, I come across this one. Huh? Okay. Here's the problem. I don't remember if this was sandwiched in between the Battle Bond, the Amonkhet, or the M25 pack. It was one of those. I just don't know which one. It's because I immediately took it out, and then of course they're all kind of, disorganized within the pile. So let's take a look at what I have here. Very carefully remove it. The first thing I noticed, and this could be entirely subjective, but it almost feels a little lighter. Maybe I should probably do it blind to. Okay, maybe it doesn't feel lighter.
Want me to give you like 3 random cards so you can tell the difference when you're blindfolded?
I think it'll be fine because already I'm overthinking it. So I'll probably get a gram scale or something.
Okay.
Oh shit! It's misshapen. I'm looking at it right now. It's actually not perfectly straight. It's kind of like doing like a, it's kind of like it. Yeah. So normally your hand would be like this. It's kind of doing this thing.
That's a curvature.
So let's see if that can be appreciated. So
yeah, you can see it. I can see it from here.
Exactly. See how you can't see the top if you look. Yeah, exactly. See there, right above my eyebrow. Mm-hmm. So it's so that's interesting. I don't know if that's common to these cards or what. But you can see it's wide on both sides. So one thing that I noticed, because I think I have a keen eye, is that you can actually see that there's a middle layer between the upper white part and the bottom white part, and it kind of looks blue. So what I'd like to do today, sort of to show you guys that this is the real thing, is to look at it under the macro lens. So let's do that. All right, so it's turning on, and here we go.
I'm gonna get the light for you so you can get a better image.
I think it's fine because even with this light, I think it's good. Okay, so remember earlier on the artist proof there, that's perfect actually, because on the artist proof I was showing you guys earlier the reflectivity and how it's a little bit different. At how it varies. There's a couple spots that reflect light differently. I had it just a moment ago. Let's come back in here. There, you see that? There we go. There we go. That is interesting, isn't it? So this sort of has the same kind of reflective pattern as the other card. Mm-hmm. Did Siri think I was speaking with her?
Yes. Apparently my Siri thought you were speaking to her.
Apparently. So I'm just playing around with the focus, guys. So just give me a second. I want to see if I can play around with the reflectivity again, but keeping it in focus. There. Oh, that's beautiful. That is beautiful. That is beautiful. You guys can see it. And I wonder what that is. I don't really know what that is.
Let me come over and see what kind of
on the picture on the group I posted it, and I lost the reflectivity there for a second. But let's get it.
Okay, I see it.
Nazca lines almost.
A cat.
Yeah, you see that? Okay, so I'm there. I just slowly move across. So even though to the naked eye, it does look like it's just like a plain white thing, you can see here that there's a lot more to it. It looks like pressure was applied differentially to it, especially in that one area here, right. If you guys know who Rudy is, I need Rudy's little poker. I'm not exactly sure where. There, like right next to my pinky there. You see that little reflective area. Since everything's at the macro scale, it's really hard to know exactly what movements correspond to what in terms of area. Yeah, it's very obvious there. And so let's move across the card. So that it would be left this way. So let's move this way. And it looks like that was the main area that has that high reflectivity. But there's other areas. It's kind of like, you know what this reminds me of?
What?
Mike, you wouldn't know because you're from Miami. This looks like an ice skating rink.
I've been to ice skating rinks, believe it or not.
No, I'm not sure you've been one, but just like when you see them enough times.
Yeah,
This
I've been there
really looks like a...
Plus also my coordination. You really want to see me in an ice skating?
I mean, yes, but not me next to you.
Yeah, your imagination is correct. I'm eating it a lot. Yeah, that's what she said. I know.
Oh, look at that. The reflectivity here is very different too.
What do you think the lines are caused by? Is it
colors
difference of pressure or?
So that's a good question. I really don't know. I hate to hazard a guess, but
If anyone in the chat has an opinion, please let us know.
pressure, ink, no glue. I mean, any of those things. But it's really beautiful. I mean, it's kind of like a Jackson Pollock painting, kind of, if you will, just the seeming randomness, because I just really don't know what else to attribute these things to. Now, this is one side. Okay, so let's look at the other side. So I'm gonna move it back. So no funny business, and then we switch it out. I have a purple light in the background. That's why you see it, and the main thing I want to notice, what you guys to notice, is that even though there's similar features, like for example, that it looks a little bit shinier, for lack of a better word, at the edge, it's kind of like a fingerprint, right? The pattern on the actual physical card is not the same, and all those little reflective points are not distributed evenly. So again, this is extremely hard to control because it's such a small scale, but I'm going to try my best. So there, okay, there. And let's move it. Okay, what happens if I move it this direction? There. There, you guys see? Again, a very different pattern of reflectivity here. And just moving across the card here. It's almost as if, like, you're taking fingerprints of somebody, and you're kind of cataloging it, or even better, you're surveying. There we go. And yeah, well, speaking of fingerprints, those are mine. And hey, isn't that interesting? So again, we notice that at the edges, geez, I'm about to give up. This is really frustrating because the movements are so counterintuitive.
What are you trying to do right now?
Show the damn card. The thing is that, like, moving up on the, for example, moving up here, moving down here, but then which angles which is tricky. But anyway, the long story short is that there's all sorts of like little patterns hidden in this card. I think and I hope that this represents something very special. According to the MISPRINT website, I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head right now. There's only one other one of these reported in the history of like magic. You guys see the layering there? This is the beauty of a macro lens. It looks like there's a blue core. Normally, I'm pretty certain, well, don't quote me, but I'm fairly certain you can't normally visualize a blue core from the side for these cards, but I'm convinced that here you can. You see that? Oh, it's very, yeah, you can see it. Hope you guys are seeing this too. This is wonderful that on this scale you see it. Razor thin, but it's there. Wow.
Looks awesome.
It's in focus, yeah. So there you have it. Yeah, there's your blue core. So I'm going to move back to the regular camera. So here, again, double sided white, this way, this way, and we saw it close up. We saw the different reflective points. We saw the fact that not only is it heterogeneous in terms of its reflectivity, like a speckle kind of pattern, but it's very different on both sides. There's even little splotches where it's more reflective, whether it's because there's more pressure, whether it's because there's like some kind of whitewash or whatever. I really don't know. But it's there. And we saw it from the side, clearly showing the blue core. You can see with the naked eye, but I think we were able to see with the macro lens too. So I'm convinced that this is something very special. If anybody, I'm putting this video up to YouTube. If anybody who's watching this on YouTube or even watching it now is familiar with any similar misprint, I really appreciate any hints. I've hit up the main group on Facebook, the most populous one, with like the misprint guy or whatever. Still haven't heard from him, but so far nobody else has been able to identify a similar thing except for the one that's posted online. That was, I believe, from a Portal 3 Kingdoms pack. That's the only other double white that's apparently been reported. So any information would help. I know that the ones that have the magic back are. Give me a few moments and we'll chat. I'm about to comment on your post. Oh, wonderful.
Awesome.
Wait, are you the misprint guy? Because that would be awesome if you were.
We hope so. Please, and if you're not, we still want to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, exactly, because that'd be wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
I'm one of the admins. Oh, brilliant! Thank you so much for joining us. Hey,
Thank
Mike,
you.
we got somebody from the Facebook group who's
wow,
joining
great
us.
to see you. Thank you for showing up. Always glad for people to listen.
Yeah, and if you want to look at it again, I'm more than happy to show it. Like I said, in the offline, when this gets up to YouTube, you'll be able to see the full comparison that I did. But I was able to compare in close detail with the macro lens, the artist proof back to this double white back. So exactly. And it's actually quite fortunate. It just so happens that I had gone to you know where I got this, Mike?
Where?
I got this at what's that con in Orlando that they have? MagicCon. MagicCon? MagicCon?
Is it MagicCon?
MegaCon?
MegaCon.
Yeah.
Nice. Wow, that's great.
Yeah, because
who was the artist?
John Stenko.
Wow, that's amazing. You got
And it's amazing because ever since I started playing Death and Taxes, the Containment Priest became very relevant. And so, actually, Rafa was there when my girlfriend happened to have been there when I was getting this.
Yeah, you did mention that. That's awesome.
That's right. Earlier, of course, I FaceTimed my girlfriend about this because, but she'd be excited too. Because, John was a great guy. My girlfriend's an artist too. She's in art school in Milwaukee. And sadly, I'm here in Miami. But that's a different story.
She's coming in a week, though.
So am I. To Texas. Coming to Texas.
Yeah, sure. That's what you meant.
Yeah. But anyway, so she was talking to John a little bit about, being a professional artist and all these things. And so it's just wonderful that I had a comparison control. How new is the AP? We know Watty changed the formula for the clear coat they used on cards recently. That's a good point. This artist print is 2016.
So relatively new.
Yeah, and this would be 2018 because, like I said earlier, I don't know, and it's just my nasty habit. I open the packs and I put them in a pile. I don't know if this was from N25, Amonkhet, or what's the other one? Battle Bond. But it's from one of those three.
17, correct?
Oh, it's too old to make a direct comparison. Gotcha. So,
do you have another one that's more recent?
No, that's the only artist proof I own.
Okay.
It still has a lot of similar features.
Are you convinced, Admin, with his argument, or do you say that it might not be real?
Well, where else would it be from?
I'm curious what his thoughts are.
Yeah, and you know what? For anybody watching the video after the fact, there's a lot of things that I was taught, and I learned while researching this. You smell the cards because apparently some people just wash them, whitewash them off with acetone.
Mm-hmm.
Or in the case of black ones, some people literally will just, paint them black. So what I was alluding to here, here we go. Did you say there was a difference in the surface reflectivity between the front and the back? Yes and no. So what I'm saying is, like, okay, right now we'll use the artist proof as an example. So the reflectivity as a whole is about the same, but what there are these little areas, these little like islands or splotches where they're not. And I apologize, it's really hard to manipulate this because macro lens, any movement moves it quite a bit, and in directions where I may not want to move it. So let's actually do it this way. Okay, so I think we're close to an angle that's worthwhile. Just pardon me 1 second. There. Okay, so let's focus on the edge for a second. And I'll start slowly moving the card. So, God, this is the lighting. I just can't get the same angle that I had earlier.
Do you want me to use
no, because the reason not because Mike, I want to have the same lighting conditions I had earlier in the video.
Got it. Okay, so there's a comparison.
So that's the focus. Where can I get the?
Just trying to be helpful.
No, I appreciate it, my friend.
I know you do. Letting the streamers know. And thank you again for showing up as well.
There. I got it. Okay, I'll just keep moving.
I believed in you the whole time.
Okay, so you see the edge here. Good. Okay, perfect. I'll try not to move it at all. You see at the edge, it's a little bit more reflective. Yes, exactly. Like right at the corner. And you see how there's also little. See if I can get my finger pointing somewhere, like here, exactly where my finger is. How there's like little islands of like more reflectivity. There we go. There we go. Here you can see them. This is what I was referring to. Those little kind of like splotchy looking things. Again, you can see them all over here. So this is on the artist proof, okay? So then now that it's been seen here, I'm going to bring over the double white card. Again, so I'll show it on the other camera there, double white. It's out of focus, but I'll show it here anyway. White and white. And let's get in there. And I'll show you the area that's of particular interest, where it just kind of looks like a bad uneven whitewash, which is right around here. You see? Oh, there we go. See that? See that? Very. So now you see what I meant, right? Where there's like a more matte area and then like some more glossy splotches. That's true on both sides, but the pattern of them is different here versus the other one. I was saying earlier, it really does look like an ice skating rink.
Yeah, you did mention that.
Yeah, see? It would be easier to tell on the artist proof if it weren't drawn in the back, but I think it's the point. My point is pretty well made here, that there's these little patterns, and I don't know what this pattern represents. If it's like glue or pressure that was applied, could be pressure. And then again, the other thing that I was trying to say between the front and the back is, again, there's those little reflective islands. Again, I don't know what word, splotches, islands, whatever you want to call them. Kind of start seeing them there. See, exactly. But the pattern's different. It's kind of like what's called Zambino, the machine that cleans the ice rinks. Not Zappafino. There's a name for that machine. Zamboli. It's kind of like somebody cleaned this ice rink and it took on a different pattern based on who the person who cleaned it. Again, sorry, it's just really hard to find the right angle and then focus it. But that's macro. And yeah, just so people can know, I'm on a Canon EOS M camera, and this is the 28 to 135 millimeter Canon EF lens with image stabilization, with two macro rings, a 20 and a 30. Oh, look at that! Is that? Oh no, I think that was a little piece of saliva. Oops. No, it was a speck. There's a speck of dust there. This is why we keep them in the. This is why we keep them in the sleeves. Here we go. An ice skating rink is a good analogy. This isn't knowledge I have from misprints, but the reason you're not seeing a uniform level of glossiness across the entire card is because something called microsurface. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense. And then here's what I was hinting at earlier, where you can actually see the layering pretty well. And sorry, there's a very razor thin area of focus I have to like sort of just hold my hands within. But you can see clearly that there's different layers. And with my jeweler's loop, I'm pretty convinced that I'm able to see the blue core. And I was showing that earlier. Now, the curious thing is I could convince myself with the naked eye in my loop that I could see it when you're looking at it lengthwise. We're looking at it lengthwise now, on the side of the card, looking from top to bottom. But I wasn't convinced that I could see it on sort of the on the upper and lower parts of the card. So let's test that. Again, there's a very razor thin area of sharpness, so I'm gonna try for that. Oh, I think I'm there. It's there. You can see the layers right there, especially to the right of the screen. Yes, you can see it. Like I said, I'm convinced it's blue based on what I saw with the jeweler's loop, but here you could, at the very least, you can see the clear separation between the layers. Give me a second. I'm gonna try adjusting the focus on here. Don't worry, my friend Mike is dropping stuff on the other side of the table, not near this.
I caught it.
Good for you.
I did it.
There it is. You see that? Wow. That is the beauty of macro. There it is. True, yeah. I mean, honestly, I have zero clue as to how to authenticate this darn thing. Frankly, I mean, it's more of a curiosity. I know there's a lot of people that love this, and if so, wonderful. Like, I'd love to, talk to them about it, whatever. But it's certainly something I wasn't expecting to get, and something that, I never in my life thought I'd be trying to figure out what to do with. So, it's interesting doing all this research and learning about these things.
Any thoughts? If you guys think it's the legit thing, or what are your thoughts?
Does BGS appraise these? Do people do expert opinions? If, for example, just because I can't think of anybody else at the moment, Rudy from Alpha Investments, the same way he might look at an alpha card and be like, oh, based on this and this, you guys can see here, this is clearly an original alpha, or whatever. I don't know if there's a similar kind of person that maybe I could collab with, speak with, or even do like a back and forth. Maybe you're that person. I don't know. I guess basically try to authenticate this. If it's even possible. If it's not possible to authenticate it, I'm perfectly fine with that. Like I said, this came into my possession just willy-nilly. So if it's literally impossible to authenticate, I'm okay with that. I would just don't know if that's actually a true statement or not. But I'm actually a scientist myself, and so far, there's a lot of evidence that seems to that's pointing towards the fact that, well, I mean, I know it's real because I pulled it from the pack, but there's a lot of evidence to support that. But science, as you know, is not to prove something is the case, but to disprove that it's not. So how do I disprove that this is
not to prove that
unauthentic?
Case.
Right, exactly. You got to reject the null hypothesis. That's what we say.
Okay, it's funny. The second one you say that makes way more sense to me.
Yeah, and so
because it's not a double negative. Can't be a double negative if I use science.
And so,
oh, that feels weird.
I'd have to think about how to approach it like as a scientist.
Well, what's the null hypothesis?
Well, okay, so the hypothesis is that this is an authentic card, right? That's what I'm asserting. So the null hypothesis is that it's not authentic. So you have to disprove that it's unauthentic. So disprove that's unauthentic. So what are features of non-authentic cards? The blue core would be an example, right? So that's one feature. And there's no such thing as certainty, but there's degrees of confidence, right? There's either degrees of confidence or probability
Mm-hmm.
that you know.
But you have to narrow the probability and the degree of increase the degree of confidence while decrease the probability of failure.
Exactly. So you have to increase your confidence in your ability to reject the fact that
Which blue core is one example.
So that's one example.
And pulling it from a pack is the second.
Yeah, exactly. Though of course nobody saw me do it, but can't change that.
No, well, you can prove one thing absolutely. The second one is word of mouth, but I don't think anyone is assuming you're a liar.
The smell would be something else. It's very easy to tell because that's what I was reading on the website, that people will wash it down with acetone. This doesn't smell like anything. I think I might. Did I leave a nose print? No. No, you would have seen it on the camera.
I would have left a nose print.
You would have left a nose print. Yeah, no, but I did that. Just, I mean, the odds of somebody washing a card, slipping it in a booster pack for me to find, or when I turn around, are like next to impossible. But just on that off chance, I did it, and there was nothing. So yeah, I'm willing to listen to all advice.
Or any resources.
Yeah. Because I'm sure somebody probably wants this.
If they know,
and I'm sure they have something that I want to. If that's like I said, if not, it's perfectly fine. I just like to be better informed, and it's also a really neat thing because I'm really thankful for the group. Thank you for being admin in that group, by the way, because I've been in it for a long time. I think. Because the only thing I've ever gotten apart from this was like a shifted blood crypt, and the minor, quote unquote misprints, if you can even call them that, like from unlimited or like beta, where it's a little off shifted. But especially the test print cards, Mike. I don't know if you've ever seen like the island that has a parallax tide.
I believe I have that.
Like art, when they were playing around with different frames. I actually want to own the card. Like, I'm willing to drop. I'd probably be willing to drop like 15 grand for that. Yep. There's only a couple in the world, so not that anybody's selling it, and it's probably realistically going for more. But that's just an example of like, I know there's some people that really, really like specific things for certain reasons. The reason I like that one, the Parallax Tide Island, is because I played Parallax Tide Ankar Mishra deck at Nationals in 2000, which was like the height of my, like, I was 15 years old. That was the height of my youth, like, Magic career. So that has special sentimentality. So that would be the reason I would want that, right? So yeah, I don't know if other people have stories connected to these misprints or what, but
if you do, please.
I just think this is I've just never heard of anything. Yeah. So I mean, have you heard of another one like this? I mean, real or not. I mean, but have you ever heard of another one? I just haven't even. The only one I've heard of is that one I told you.
When you told me, I was confused. Like, why does he have a piece of paper next to it? I had no idea.
I almost threw it away, Mike. I almost threw it away. I literally thought, because, I mean, as you can see, it's a little cluttered in here. So, I have my business cards. In fact, Mike, didn't I leave like a business card like right there? Or right on here? Usually there's like piles of business card.
I'm looking. I don't see them around.
It's literally right where your hand is.
Right where your hand is, and there's my hand next to the whiskey.
I can't tell how happy I am that you smelled the card. For the record, I believe that acetone behaves similarly to isopropyl in terms of evaporation. I'm not entirely sure it would leave a residual smell or not, but I figured that it was worth including. Yeah, no, I look. One of my professors in medical school always said, he's an Indian guy, he said, "You must learn to smell your patients. Smell them."
What the frick?
Your patients.
That's what
and he was right. He was 100% right. Because I could smell C. diff from across the hall.
What the heck?
I could smell MRSA from across the hall. Like,
that's what they teach in medical school?
Yeah. No, so I agree. You learn a lot by smelling. And it's one of your most potent senses. It's intimately tied to the memory part of your brain, because there's actually
true. Yeah, it is.
Most of your brain is what we call privileged in terms of like not allowing direct contact with the outside world. The one part that's a little accepted with the EXE is the olfactory bulb, and the olfactory bulb is directly connected to the mesial temporal structures, and that's where your memory centers are.
So that's why smells trigger memories better than all the five senses.
Exactly, and so you might.
I've known that. I didn't know the science behind it, but I've known that as a fact.
Even somebody that watches these cards, that looks at these cards, that touches them, whatever, none of those will trigger a strong feeling as. Oh, I can smell the alcohol, and there you go.
A good example would be this actual playmat. Remember when you talked about the smell?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because
I don't know if you can, if the streamers can see it.
No, they can't. So I have a Final Fantasy trading card game playmat that I just bought at a con, and yeah, immediately when I smelled it, I'm like, this is definitely not made in the USA, or at least it's not made with the same ink because the ink here smells like rotting fish. In fact, frankly, it smells like bacterial vaginosis. Sorry to be gross,
same thing,
but as a doctor, that's what it smells like. So the ink that's used on the playmats here in the U.S., this one smelled like green tea. You know, Mike said I was being racist, but it literally smelled like tea.
Yeah, it is.
So again, I fully subscribe to the idea that smells tell you a lot about things, both the chemical composition, etc. And exactly that. You know,
science backs it up.
Because aromatic molecules are called aromatic for a reason, right? So literally, it gives you it gives you hints as to the composition of the cards or anything that's been near it. Like I'll give you another example. If you've ever smelled a bottle of aspirin, what does it smell like?
Wow. Can't really. I could just tell you the answers. I couldn't tell you.
The answer is vinegar, and the reason is because what is vinegar? Acetic acid. What is aspirin? ASA, acetyl salicylic acid. So there's a reason it smells very similar, and so that's why. No, again, you're preaching the choir. I love the idea of trying to figure things out using all your senses. I mean, yeah, exactly.
Just don't taste it. Just don't taste it.
And it was one of the things that unfortunately you can't really project online. Like I can't. What was it?
There's no
in Richie Rich feature. There was the smell thing.
Yeah, the smell gun. Yes, I remember the smell.
And then in what's it called? In Futurama, there was the telescope where you could smell things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's
so.
Now those are.
So I wouldn't have something like that for this, but.
Unfortunately, technology is not advanced there yet.
Yeah.
Sci-fi technology hasn't become that real yet.
Exactly, but yeah. So I don't know if this is worth a planes or a Power 9. So at the moment I don't have information to definitely verify if this is a filler or not. It might require in-person validation. That's perfectly fair.
Yeah.
The macro lens goes a long way though. I'll check out the video once you're done streaming. Excellent. Perfect.
Thank you very much. We appreciate that.
No, I really do because I recognize it as somebody who's by definition a skeptic because that's what a scientist has to be.
Yep.
I completely get it, and so and that's why I'm willing to take all those steps. In fact, we could talk about this later on Facebook. But I travel a lot. I go to conferences all over the world. I was just in Barcelona, Chicago before that. So if I'm ever in the same place where you are, I'm more than happy to take this along with some of my equipment, like my loops or whatever else, and to just study it together. I mean, I think more than anything else, more than cashing out or whatever the hell this I may or may not get from this, it's a chance to learn a little bit about the process and about Magic's history.
Which should be the focus, is always education, learning, growth as a person and as a player.
Yeah, it's not a coincidence that the name of the channel is Mirrodin Institute of Technology.
It's an institute.
Exactly. I'm actually an MIT grad myself, and
yes, he is.
Yeah, and more than anything else, it's about learning about how things work and why things work, taking them apart and putting them back together. And this is quite literally like the best example of that.
Because magic, at least.
Deconstructing without truly deconstructing. So, man, this has been a great conversation, great learning opportunity. I hope we get a chance to talk more soon. This video will be up on Twitch just by default. And as soon as I click the stop streaming button, I'm going to export it directly to YouTube. And as you saw, it's a high resolution. I'm exporting at 3000 kbps. So you should have all the details you need. And we can disseminate this also in the group too, because I'd really like to hear everybody's take on it. And also just so everybody has a chance to see it.
And for those who are not a part of the group that watch it, please comment on the videos on YouTube so we may be able to fall back.
Oh, that's right, if you are watching this after the fact. So thank you, my friend. I really appreciate it. Thank you, everybody watching it now and later on. And hopefully we can keep learning more about how Magic cards are made. And
we had a wonderful time.
Exactly. Thank you for sharing. Fillers are my jam. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful, man. All right, you take care.
Have a great night, guys.